Hello and welcome to a Warframe video. So in this video I'm going to be talking mostly about Revenant, but before I start talking about him, there is something that I would like to share with, well, everybody watching. So, Revenant, the Eidolon Warframe, or as I like to call him, Mr. Recycled Warframe. Now, I don't really mind that his abilities are similar to other Warframes. I would have liked it if he brought something new and unique into the mix. The whole idea of making his own Thrall army, it's kind of pointless since you can do that with Nyx, and you can even make your own undead army with Necros. So the Thralls are practically they're nothing that serves something. They have no new function on them. His abilities synergize with each other, and that's literally the only thing that is his selling point. The fact that his abilities do synergize with each other to a certain point. Now, as far as how good he is, he can survive. He is decent at surviving, and he is decent at killing things. He's a crowd controller and a damage dealer, which is not what I was expecting. Me and a friend of mine actually had concepts of an Eidolon Warframe, and we were actually hoping that he would be like the we had the concept of an Eidolon Warframe before the Eidolon Warframe was even announced, and we were hoping that he would be like the best tank ever, like a tank that would even be better than Inarus. I mean, it would make sense. Terrorists are, unless you have a very powerful build, like they are practical tanks. They're titans among tanks. So it would make sense. But unfortunately, that was not the case. As soon as I saw his abilities that were like his abilities at the very first time, it just didn't do it for me, and it only went downhill after that. And seeing him, well, being able to play as him now, well, while he is okay, he can be fun if you're playing solo. When it comes to teamwork, he absolutely brings absolutely nothing. He's about as useful as Wukong is with teamwork, i.e. there is no teamwork there. If you create thralls to try and mind control, like most of his powers are based on the thralls, which will die as soon as you create them because your allies will kill them. Especially if you're doing a public match, like as soon as you make a thrall, he will probably die before he even infects any other ones. Which kind of literally when I was playing in public, I never really used his third power to regenerate health or shield because by the time I made one thrall, it was already dead by the time it made a second one. So what was the point of using it? The only power that really comes somewhat of useful is his fourth power, which kind of kills things, luckily. But obviously that's literally I don't really like that ability because while it's useful and it's fun to move around while spinning around and killing everything, and I mean any Warframe would have that feeling, he's exactly what the developers wanted to avoid. It's the reason why they changed Telos Boltes, is the reason why they want to nerf Maiming Strike, and the reason why they nerfed Ember. He's exactly that. He is Ember back at her prime, and that's essentially killing low-level enemies before anyone can ever do anything. Then again, there are Warframes that were already nerfed and can still do that. In fact, Ember can still do that when you give her the proper build. So it it just seems like they tried to. The concept was really good. Like, I really like the idea of an Eidolon Warframe, but the execution was not as well planned. It wasn't well thought of. It didn't offer anything new and creative like Korra did. And Korra's literally just Korra's design, her appearance was awesome, while Revenant just doesn't do it for me. He sucks. He's probably one of my least favorite Warframes to look at. Even worse than Hydroid, I would say. He's basically Hydroid in his normal form. At least Hydroid Prime looks kind of cool, but this is literally Hydroid in his regular form. And Korra, our previous Warframe, actually looked pretty good, and she also brought something unique, which is the ability to bring a Kavat, which was awesome. So she had something that had a uniqueness into her, something that brought a uniqueness to the roster of the Warframes, while Revenant doesn't really do that. So while he may be good at surviving when you're soloing, if you want to solo and just have fun and enjoy yourself, he is good at doing that. But if you want like some really good teamwork, then you're gonna basically just be stuck using your second power to survive and your fourth power to just clear things, and that's pretty much it. Now, this might be I may not see him much as a worthy Warframe to our roster, but that's because I was expecting something entirely different. Like I said, me and my friend were visualizing about a Warframe like this before he even existed. So we were coming up with ideas that were so like in our heads good and everything that after seeing him being released, well, he wasn't what we were expecting, so he didn't meet our expectations. He didn't meet our most primal expectation, which was him being a tank. That's even better than Inuros, which would make sense since Terralists are supposed to be, like Eidolons are supposed to be like, tanks, like Titans. So it would make sense that he would be a tank. And it just went downhill after that. But I am willing to, every person should test them out to see for themselves, see how they work. Obviously, if you haven't any of the previous Warframe, if you don't have any Warframe that, that uses the abilities very similar to his in your roster yet, then maybe maybe he will shine to you if you use him that way. But that's the way I saw it. Honestly, as far as his addition to the roster, I think his weapon is pretty much the best thing about him. I went into a game where I literally just used his weapon. I didn't even bother most of his abilities because, there was no point. He is okay at clearing out Grineer enemies and Corpus enemies due to his fourth power adjusting to whatever it is, dealing corrosive or magnetic damages, which destroys Grineer and Corpus without a doubt. Now, against the Infested, however, it's not really that useful because against the Infested, he deals toxic damage, which is kind of useless against the Infested. Not only do the Toxic Ancients actually counter the Toxin, any toxic powers that you might have, the Toxin itself doesn't really do any much. Against the Infested, I would say Viral will deal more damage because when it procs, it'll reduce their health by half, and all they have is health, so it would make sense that it would be Viral, but okay, I don't have any complaints. Well, at least on that department. So yeah, Revenant is not one of my favorite additions to Warframe. I was really excited when he was announced, but my excitement just went downhill after the more I learned about him, the more they showed about him, the more my excitement just went downhill. So I guess he didn't offer something as unique as I thought he would be. It would be nice if they actually made Warframes that were more unique and more interesting, rather than just making recycled Warframes from other Warframes. But yeah, what do you think about Revenant? Did you enjoy your playing with him? Do you think he offers something unique, something that I'm missing? So yeah, let me know. Stay cool. Remember, this is my perspective of him. Feel free to have yours. Stay cool, and I'll see you later. Bye.